right, welcome to another morning meditation, our last one this week. Let's all start by doing 10 minutes together of surrender or inquiry or any combination of that. All right. You want to talk about their experience?
So you disidentify with everything,
Mhm.
okay. So how long you think we should stay so that you'll get other
So you're gonna get what?
like you are able to disidentify with everything that is
See, the key point is, can you keep doing that all the time?
yeah.
Right. That's the point. So, and if you keep doing that all the time, then already you have a big part of your reward.
Yeah.
Which is peace.
Then you will start to get some more things.
Well, look, I mean, realization will happen when the attachment's weakened enough. So as you try to hold this practice moment to moment, you'll see how it's disrupted. Right? The disruptions are the attachments. Like the mind will be shaken, it'll be taken away, right? Like, oh, I'm thinking about something and I forgot about the practice. Then you bring it back. And as you do that over and over again, the attachments over time become weaker and weaker and weaker. When they become weak enough, then truth will start breaking through.
Sometimes,
Go anyway. Continue.
sometimes sometimes you don't do anything at all. It's completely weekend kind of a situation. For a long time, you can stay like that.
Yeah. Sometimes the mind can be quiet for quite a while. That's like a fruit of your previous practice. Yeah, so it can be smooth skating for a while. But you shouldn't get complacent when that happens, because then what happens is you drop the practice, and then before you know it, you're back. Like attachments will grab you. So if you get like, oh yeah, everything's great right now, I'm just gonna just relax, then you'll be taken away again.
Yeah, sometimes the place makes it happen, or sometimes what you have done before makes
exactly.
it happen.
Exactly. Temporary quieting of mind. But that's why precisely why the practice said that you should do it whether the mind is quiet or not. Because if, even if the mind is quiet, to protect and extend that quiet, you should be vigilant, right? You should, this quiet, this is temporary, ignore or inquire who is experiencing the quiet, because that is going to keep you noticing when attachment intruders are trying to come in and steal your peace of mind.
And when you go to Africa, you feel completely quiet.
Yeah.
Because no noise, especially the game drive and all, like you don't.
It's very quiet. Yeah. And
It's a place matters.
Right. But you see what I'm saying? Like even in that situation, if you can keep your awareness, right? Like that's why the cliche is for example, like Zen teachers. This is Zen teachers will go around and with a stick, right? And they'll try to hit their students sometimes. The point being that the student should be continuously aware and avoid the stick. If their mind is working, if their practice is working, they should be aware. So similarly, we want that kind of continuous awareness. Ramana says, for jnani, the mind is like a very, very fast spinning, like top. It's spinning so fast, it seems to be motionless. But what is it doing? It's spinning to deflect the attachments, basically, or thoughts, to not get involved in them, essentially. It's just natural under that circumstance.
Yeah, so don't you feel that, like eradicating everything is one way, and the other way is also taking it very lightly, everything. Don't really.
Well, see, it's not eradicating. It's ignoring and not using your willpower if you're doing surrender. So things can still arise, but you're not paying attention to them.
Yeah, that's one thing. The next thing is, for example, I don't have any things happen. I don't have any impression on me. Then there is no point in later. I have to really ignore that thought. That's a kind of a scenario.
Well, see, if you are not ignoring the thought in the first place, then it will have an impression on you. You can't stop
something,
it.
some of them deep impression, or some of them you say, oh, that's nice. So that's kind of like a desire coming into you.
Yeah, right. Mm.
And even I didn't want it. I
Mhm.
didn't want, like very young age maybe you were saying, oh, that's really like
Mhm, mhm.
little bit admiration. That's also in your system,
Yeah.
like a
Yes.
Bodhagana.
Yes. Yeah. Some kind of desire for beauty or something like that. Something you may have touched,
Yeah.
something beautiful that you may have experienced early on. Yeah,
Mm.
correct. So so if you don't ignore these thoughts, then yeah. I mean, of course, attitude can be helpful. It is, but better than attitude is the recognition that it's not me, basically, which can only be sustained through the practice, either of ignoring or of inquiry. Again, when you inquire, you automatically ignore. When you look for I, like where am I, the mind is automatically ignoring everything else. It's turning its attention away from it, is what I mean. So that's what Ramana says. Doing the practice is the only real way of being awake. Everything else is like a dream, right? Every other thought is like a dream. It's like a series of dreams. You get lost in one dream, then another dream, then another dream, then another dream, then
Other
another
memory
dream.
like that.
Yeah. It's one dream after another. So we're withdrawing ourselves from these dreams, essentially, is what's happening. We're trying to.
Like with practice you can even very big problems also, like a
Yes,
very big
yes,
impression also
yes.
you can remove.
Yes, definitely. Because the impression is big. Of course, maybe it takes some time, but the impression is big because you get lost in it.
Yeah.
It's just an image, just like everything else. Big impression, small impression, or big issue, small issue. These are all it's a picture, like a picture of a mountain or a picture of a tiny anthill. But they're both like the same size, really. They're both equally images. Neither one is big or small. Real, they're not anthill or mountain. They're both just pictures.
Like but some episodes as a young child, or like you remember more. You don't remember day to day maybe, right?
Yeah, possible.
So that means the day to day thing has got no significance in you. That's why you don't remember much of that. But the episodes hit you, or you remember more. And in that aspect, it's a big thing on you. You carry forward.
Yeah. It could be a deep impression like that. Yeah, true. So again, as it surfaces, right? As you try to stay awake, aware, and ignoring, these things will come up, and then you keep the practice going, right? You're like, oh, this is irrelevant. If you're surrendering, right? This has nothing to do with me, and just noticing that you're not it. Basically, that's it.
Practice more to get rid of that one, or the same aspect.
No, you just keep the practice going. Period. Your practice is like a chakra. It's spinning, and it's like a saw blade. Anything coming in contact with it is like cut, basically. So you keep the mind spinning, and all these impressions as they come up will get cut up automatically. Or you keep inquiry going, whatever arises gets broken on the spinning wheel of inquiry. Anything that comes up. And if it's a deep impression, it may have a bunch of stuff that come up. It's the whole thing may not come up at once. It's like layers of it will come up.
I tend to use go back into reflecting on Upadeshasaram again and again. The mind, that's how my mind go back into the. Is that the right way to do?
Well, you're reflecting on the words of Upadeshasaram, you mean?
Yes.
I mean, that's nothing wrong with that, and that can be very helpful.
Because I use, say, for example, he talks about how to do this actually. Tannai ubalivitu orudan tannai unarudam. That means if you think about yourself without any limitedness, that's like reaching the God. That's one slogan. Same way, like then there's all the slogans are all related to this only. So that's the way I think about how to reach the I. Different approach. Where is the I? Like instead of saying I, try to go that way. Is it too much thoughts coming there?
Look, it's nothing wrong with going back to that if it's helpful. Because again, how do I put it? It's
Words, thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's words. It is words, but we need words sometimes. So if you feel like you need it, there's nothing wrong with going to it actually, because you do need it for a while. but then ultimately, right, where the words are pointing to the practice.
Correct.
Right. So when it says, for example, like you said, right, think of yourself without any limitations, right? What does that mean? Limitations are thoughts.
Mhm.
So what does it mean? It means ignore thoughts.
Right.
Right. Same thing. What does it mean to think of yourself without limitations? It means think minus thought. You know, minus meaning ignore thought, basically, right? That is thinking of yourself without limitation. So
this is my mind exercise, different way of approaching that. Another thing is like, instead of looking outside, he said, what is the mind's, the Tamil word is called வெளியிடங்களை விட்டு மனந்தன் ஒளி உரு ஊர்தல். That's உண்மை உணர்ச்சியாம். The I is feeling. The feeling, if you look at the mind with the light of the eye, that is like feeling the eye. That's the meaning of that song, slogan. It's in Sanskrit is there, Tamil is there. I can easily understand the Tamil. Let's say go back into the Tamil part of it.
So if you look at the mind in the light of the eye,
you see, the mind is reflecting the eye's light. So you focus on the light of the mind.
Yes.
That's what the slogan.
Yeah, because the light. This is like exactly the same. Yeah, exactly. Because the light, it's just like looking around this room and being like, you look around the room and you see the objects.
Source of the eye. Yeah.
But now every object is illuminated by the light. So can you notice the light instead of the object? Can you notice the light itself? It's exactly. This is inquiry. This is surrounding the same thing. It's exactly the same. What does it mean? Because what does it mean to notice that light? What it means is, in your attention, try to turn away from the object. That's what remains is the light, basically.
Right.
That's what you're. Yeah.
So there are 30 slogans here.
So you're thinking about these slokas. Look, nothing wrong with thinking about the slokas. You know, like what I would say is, you know, that you know, as much as you can push to the practice, it's the best, basically. But you know, if you fall back, if you're confused and you fall, or you're tired or something, and you fall back to the slokas, that's great. That's what I would say. Yeah. But fundamentally, it remains the practice is it's highest, exactly. The slokas are giving you prompts, right? You know, they're like little bits of, here's an angle, you know? Try this way, this little approach of looking at it, you know? But it's the same thing every time, really, you know?
You just said something which just landed. You said, are you going back because you're confused or tired? And I guess if we find ourselves going to something else, we should look at maybe like, is it worth exploring? Because if you say I'm tired and that's why I'm thinking of something, well, maybe that's something I need to rejiggle. And
Sure,
if
could be,
then I need to resolve that.
Could be, that's right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be something else as well. If you're confused or tired, it could be worth looking at why you're confused or tired, definitely. But yeah, as a general rule, certainly nothing wrong with, that's why the scriptures are there. Because it's for inspiration, it's for there, you know, when you need refreshment, you know. So, you know, if you are going to fall back to it, definitely.
Yeah, most of the time when I walk, that's what I do. And I go back to this, back again and again. That's
that's good. That's good. Yeah. That's good, actually. That is good. You know, yeah. That's. I mean, it is.
It's reflection.
It's reflection, and it will prompt you to do the thing. You know, it puts you back in touch with. It puts you back in touch with your spiritual intuition, basically. You know, there's something in the, you know, when we read these kinds of words, like something in us that recognizes something deep within us. That's what, again, the whole game is, right? There's already, like in a seed form, realization, right? That's intuitively experienced. It's just covered with a lot of darkness. And so when you read these words, reflect on them, it's like touching that spot. And it's like growing that seed, or, you know, watering it and whatnot. So, you know, something in us is recognizing it, the truth of it. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you do want to do the thing. It's like reading about riding a bicycle. It's like, yeah. I mean, you want to ride a bicycle ultimately. Oh, I can't hear you, sorry. One second. We'll let you know. 1 second. The volume has to be higher.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Because of all this holder, yeah, okay.
Oh,
Just now you mentioned, according to Raman Maharshi, he mentioned that spinning of the mind keeps the attachments, helps you in minimizing your attachments, whatever you have. So the spinning of mind means this is like through practice,
yes.
keeping the awareness going on.
Yes,
That's what
yes, exactly.
meant by spinning of mind.
Exactly, because it's just like concentrating on something, right? If you're concentrating on something that's moving, right? Like you're looking at a river, right? And your task is you want to keep noticing how the river changes. Every second it's changing, right? So
Okay.
do you see what I'm saying? So the spinning of the mind is not random spinning. It's a practice. And so when you look at the river, it's very easy when you look at the river to lose your awareness of the river. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? Because you'll look at it and you'll just forget that it exists. You won't see the changes. So what does it take to keep seeing every minute change in the water? You have to refresh your awareness, continuously, right?
Okay.
So that's the
Yeah.
spinning that's being referred to.
So our practice is we can take it as a river.
Yeah, I mean, yes, sure, yeah. You can do your essentially your awareness is a river,
Okay.
Yeah, whatever, you can call it whatever you want. The point is
Yeah.
the continuous refreshing of the practice.
Yes. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, what is a river here in this analogy?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I noticed that one of the biggest motivators for practicing for me is that I want peace, and I usually find there's a lack of peace when there's a lot of verbal thought. And I notice that as I go about my day, the times when I experience verbal thought or images or thought that has any meaning interpreted to it, that really disturbs my peace, and that's always immediately prompts me to practice. Is that like a long way of seeing it? Because that only limits my time to practice. It's like, as you said, like sometimes we have internalized parents in us that are like, okay, you do your weird self-inquiry hobby and you have to do as a side thing, and then you maintain your normal life as a productive thing, your own effort. I think that's partly what's going on in me. So yeah, I just want to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, so if verbal thought is disturbing, you're right. So it probably has a psychological component, and you're working on that. Anyone can work on their psychology, and that's good. But other than that, right, from the practice standpoint, even if it's true that the verbal thoughts are disturbing you, the practice deals with like every other thought, which is to say, either ignore it or inquire into it. It's the same universal gesture, whatever the thought may be. So, the verbal thought disturbs you. Why? Because you identify with it, obviously, right? You identify with what its content says.
Yeah.
That means during that moment, the practice is not on. I mean, this is how attachment works, obviously. So, you're working on it psychologically, which is great. But from the practice standpoint, it's like any other thought. It just happens to be that particular class of thoughts bothers you. But for other people, other thoughts will bother them, and whatever the thought may be, the approach is the same, which is either keep trying to recognize it as irrelevant or ask who it is that's experiencing it.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to share this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Self-inquiry. I haven't heard you this time at least use the word awake or aware much, and I'm just curious. That yesterday I was talking about what is that which says I, and the other thing that I've been playing with is just what is that in this experience that's aware and awake. Is that, and it's the same, right?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same. I mean, I like
Or conscious.
I like I as the center point because if we call it like, I mean, nothing wrong with the way you put it really at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally understandable. But yeah, I mean, just recall, right, that when we're looking for what is awakened awareness experience, it's not out there, right?
Yeah.
It's whatever's asking the question,
Yeah.
or whatever is looking at the question, even, right? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I is very, very important as the thing we're looking. We're not looking for abstract
Yeah.
awareness. We're looking for us,
Yeah, that which knows directly.
Yes.
Because I find sometimes some words just feel like after a while there's a staleness.
Yeah, sure.
And therefore I find this natural tendency
Sure,
to
sure.
switch it up.
Sure, that's fine. That's totally fine. I mean, the point is, again, right? Like, it doesn't matter how. Yeah, that's great. Look, I mean, you're finding what works for you. Ultimately,
Yeah.
that's the important thing. Everyone works a little bit differently. You're finding like this refreshes you to like take it from a slightly different, wording. Great.
So Akilesh, it's in the inwardness in self-inquiry, when we say we turn inwards, it just means, it doesn't mean inward as in inside our body.
No.
It just means turning away from
Yes.
all experience, right?
Yes, exactly.
And it's
Inward
not
is-
a particular direction, alright?
It's not a particular direction.
But there's
It's-
a tendency to go into the body because,
Yeah, the tendency to visualize. I mean, you can't help it. The tendency to visualize inward as somehow in this direction.
In this, yeah.
Basically. And in reality, isn't really in that direction. But it kind of can feel like that for a while. Yeah, but inward essentially is away from experience. The more away from experience, right? You have sort of grosser objects of experience, which are the sense objects, and subtler objects of experience like thoughts and emotions, and then even subtler objects of experience which are like various kinds of still kind of states. Those are all objects of experience in progressively inward terms.
But you know that you start with I, that's I is you right. So initially, even though there is no inside or outside, but initially you start with the I inside you.
Yes.
That's why the inside is you right.
Yes.
Otherwise, you are getting
Yes.
confused.
Yes, yeah. It
Right,
feels
then
like
once you
I
go
is
in,
inside. Yeah, it feels
then
like
the
I
in
is
will come
inside
out.
originally. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I feels like it's inside originally, and you lock in on that as your original initial gesture towards I.
Okay. Otherwise, you get confused. Otherwise, you go outside.
Yeah, correct. You have to go where I is, and I will feel for most people like it's inside in some way,
Inside.
100%. Yeah, and eventually though that will
Expand, yeah.
that will get expanded or seem to be not correct exactly.
but it's important not to assign a location to it then, and
I mean, it's important
Right,
to just
to be-
recognize that whatever you find as the original location cannot be the location, right?
okay,
That's the
just
point.
recognize it.
Just recognize it. Like, look, I feel like I'm here, but then you're like, whatever this feeling is a feeling I'm aware of. So that feeling cannot be me. That's a feeling. That feeling cannot be me. So me must be what feels that. You see? So this is your initial entry point, but then, because that's your initial intuition, it's I use this example sometimes like, it's like, like your car keys or something like that, like you're looking for your car keys, and you usually hang them in a particular place. Well, you're initially going to go to that place and look for them, right? But then they're not there. So now you're like, okay, I realize they're not there, they must be somewhere else. Where are they? But your feeling may still be like they're there, right? Even if you turn away, you're like, where does it feel like they are? It still feels like they're there, because that's where you always put them.
Right.
But they're not there this time. So you have to kind of like get it into your mind. They're not there, they're somewhere else. Even if it feels like they're here, they're not there. There's a different feeling that you have to look for now. That's how it goes.
Isn't it that once you start doing the meditation, then you forget about the body. That's where it goes everywhere. The I is inside, but when you think about the I deeper, you forget that the body is gone. So then, where is the I? Then the I is not inside or outside, it's somewhere.
Yeah, right. As you go deeper, right, the inside and outside concepts will fall away, definitely. It's a non-local thing, ultimately, right? I is non-local, but we have to find that. Find out what kind of non-local it is.
Last night you said that imagination is imagination,
Mhm.
and it's really did something to me. And I just noticed a different chain of thoughts coming up, and I want to just put it out there. I don't even know if it's a question or just a share because it seems to still the mind.
Sure.
It's like this, and I never thought about this before until now, but it's there's no, like, to think what thought is in itself, and anything I think of would be like an idea of what a thought is, not thought
Yeah.
in and of itself.
Sure.
And same with form. What is form in itself? Well, it's always a form of what?
Something else.
Of,
Yeah. Right.
And that's just going on now. I don't know why, but it's like it's very kind of trippy and like kind of destabilizing.
Because thoughts are all chains of thoughts, right? It's like there's
Yeah.
no thought by itself, right? Thoughts
Yeah.
are like it's like a dictionary, you know. It's like what does one word mean? It's
Word.
point to other words, and those words are pointing to other words, to other words, to other words, right? You cannot find the actual object in the dictionary. You just have a network of words, you know. Similarly,
Yeah.
right? Thoughts are all pointing to other thoughts,
Yeah.
well, you know, and especially with respect to I, you know, it's the case.
Well, then when I asked, well, what's the original I? Like, what's the I? And then, and there's nothing that even I can't. Nothing comes up. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a network of thoughts like that. That's right. And we should assume that again, even our seeing, hearing, right? There's no like,
Yeah.
there's nothing which is unprocessed by thought. There's no like, oh, raw sensation of this carpet without thought. Like, this carpet is already a thought.
So we live in like a replica of, like, we operate in like some replica of what we think everything is. Like we're always just living in a fabrication.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we're living, yeah, you can say so, yes. We're living in, I mean, that's what the Buddhists again, they use, I mean, you misunderstood, but it's they use the word emptiness, emptiness, and why is it empty? Because it's like a series of boxes, right? It's like you open one box, and inside there's another box, and inside that is another box, inside that there's another box. But where's like the thing? There's no thing there, you just open a series of boxes, you know? That's how thoughts are, that's how the world is. It's like, it appears to have something there. And you dig into it, well, there's another appearance behind that, another appearance behind that. But where's like the stuff? You're not gonna find it.
Like space.
Exactly, like space, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, anything you look very deeply into, let's say a flower, when you start going into the levels of its atoms and
Yeah.
molecules,
Yes.
there is no flowerness in the flower
Yes.
anymore.
Yes.
It's just a bunch of whirling atoms and everything, right? Everything appears as flower and appears as this, appears as
Yes.
that. When you look deeply in, there's nothing, there's no flower.
Yeah.
In the essence of everything is empty, you know, that's sort of, I guess, what
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
My God is described like Anukul Anuvai. Like, right? Or it could be like Malaiki Mele Malay. Say either big or small or nothing. Like, one of these slogans, Tiruvasam, right? Either?
Yeah.
Say it's like inside the atom, there is atom, we go inside, that's like God, tracing God.
Oh, yeah,
You go
interesting.
out, you go huge, is also God.
Well, there's a metaphor in the Upanishads, you know, I can't really exactly recall, but it's something like, you know, the self is, it's like it's a circle, it says, I'm gonna screw it up because I don't remember really exactly, but it's like its circumference is as big as the universe,
Right.
but it's somehow as small as a point.
As a point.
You know, it's simultaneously a
Infinite
point
still.
which encompasses everything.
Right.
Like it doesn't make any right. That's
Okay.
something like that is what's going on.
Say even like they try to see Shiva's head. Vishnu goes up and up, and no, Vishnu goes to look at the feet, and Brahma goes to look at the head. Neither could find it.
Exactly. They go on forever.
Yeah.
Precisely.
But
precisely.
Brahma lies that I see the head.
Oh, is that what he says? That?
And then he's
Because he
punished.
heard from somebody. The previous Brahma say that something like that. He
And
lies.
then he's scared. And he says, I see the head.
Uh-huh.
Then Shiva says no.
Lying.
That's why. Because of that, you do not have any temple in. Nobody will worship
Nobody
you.
will worship you. Funny.
And because that's the concept of Jyotirlinga.
Mm.
All you do is you see Shiva as Shiva appears as like pillar of light everywhere. All the Jyotirlingam, that's what.
Oh, right. Infinite light. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
only like you don't see the,
the top and
limit
bottom.
at all.
Exactly.
And the pillar of light. And even to date, if you go to, I think, one of the Jyotirlingas, then the night they will show the big pillar of light. That's it.
Oh, that's the idea.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because there is no, you are limitless.
Exactly.
And you are glowing all that.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Beautiful. All right, let's do some practice again. Let's do another 10 minutes. All right. So, as you're doing the practice, what you may notice is, we'll notice is thoughts coming in, and you should view these thoughts as like boats. They're boats that are saying, we'll take you someplace else. Essentially, they have an initial name or something like that, or initial content, and if you board the boat, it'll take you out to ocean. On a train of thought. On a mixed metaphors, on a stream of thought, so that's what happens, right? So the task in, both surrender and inquiry ultimately is, don't board the boat, basically.
Yes. But I try to use the clues given in Upadeshasaram for finding the eye. There are a number of clues there. One thing is be yourself, that's one clue. Another is like this, I talking about the light of the mind. Another is that, Udukavali, Udungum Ulathai, Vidikavai Urvali. That's when you Pranabandhana, the Leena Manasam, Yekasindana. See, all these things, when you I can go into the blank state right away as soon as I start. Then where am I? Then start looking, then I start to use these clues to figure out where the eye is.
Yeah, that's great. That works definitely.
Yeah.
We're saying is, you're sort of tuning into quickly a much subtler state, essentially.
Yeah, that happens right away. Most of the time, but then you're stuck there, then what do you do then?
Yeah, well, the question is,
who is that has a P?
Yeah, who is it that's there, and can you use your practice to stay in that state all day?
I can stay for a good amount of time, but then I get bored. That's a problem. Then you get distracted, and other stuff. That's why I want to filter the other thoughts out using the Upadeshasaram as a clue.
That's fine. That's no problem. But I mean, when your day-to-day tasks come up, where's your mind?
Actually, when we sit like this, I don't have any other thoughts.
Yeah. When you're sitting like this, it's easy, but relatively. But I mean, what I mean to say is when other things are, when you're doing other things, what I mean to say.
That's what I try to, as I said, I was walking around and all, try to get back into this by using the same technique.
Exactly. Or when you're when you're doing
something, yeah.
Doing something, exactly.
That's hard, I remember we talked about the meeting time.
Exactly.
It's hard to do. I tried it, but I didn't succeed too much.
That's the key, you see, because those are the remaining attachments. Whenever it feels like I have to take my mind off the practice and put my full effort on something else,
right.
That's attachment.
Right. And succeeded in it.
So that's when you try, if you can try the practice more during those times and weaken those attachments, then that's what's going to have the ultimate impact on getting to the blank wall.
Right.
On that note, so doing the practice in the world, there's actually certain times, strangely, that are quite effective. Like if I'm talking to someone, I can practice. If I'm going for a walk, I can practice. It's when I'm in a closed environment, like cooking or a mundane, mindless task, I actually struggle with self-inquiry more.
Mundane task is easier to practice though.
If I'm sitting at my desk, kind of moving, I'll get these moments I should be doing it, and I'd say it would be very gross, who am I, or surrender, but I wouldn't be really doing it.
That might be an artifact of your particular psychology.
Yeah.
You might need some stimulation or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting stimulation, then there may be a restlessness that comes up and makes it difficult to do the practice.
Yeah, maybe. Because sitting's actually fine. It's like these mundane movements I struggle. Transition periods are good. If I go from one room to another, then in that moment I'm doing it. But as soon as I kind of stabilize in a room to do something, then it's very difficult for me.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but I mean, it's something to look into, right? What exactly is going on there? Yeah.
So for Gita, you just Gita says, right? Ananya Chintayantamo or Vishwasasram, the same slokam comes. So that's a key thing.
What is the meaning in English?
Ananya Chintayantamo. That means always
Endlessly.
keep your mind on me.
On me, yes.
On me, and then you do, whether you are suffering, whether you are doing something, all the time.
Yes.
People who do like that will, like, at the end also they will do like that, then they will they will reach me like that.
Yes.
And or at least you practice only at the end. You think of me, you will also come to me a little bit like that, And so the key thing is, even Rukmini Kalyanam, Rukmini love letter she writes to Krishna.
Okay.
She says, if you come, I will be very happy. If you do not come also, I'll always be thinking of you 1,000 janmas. 1,000 janmas, even though my janmas will happen, but my mind will be always constantly fixed with you, on you. So then, the whole essence is fixing your mind on Krishna.
Yeah.
Whether you go through, whether you are just like what I was telling you, whether you was in the womb, otherwise whether you are in the world suffering, or whether you go into Adala Padala, one of those Naragas, or you go to the abode for your punya and then come back. At that time also, you keep fixing your mind on me without thinking that, okay, I got little pleasure, I got too much hardship,
Yes.
or I am really suffering.
Yeah,
I'm very
look,
limited.
this is basically a form of surrender. Very
Yeah.
simple. You see that?
Yeah.
You're ignoring everything.
Yeah, that's what the Akshara Brahma Yoga that talks about, right?
That is surrender. And even if you look at the word, focus on me, you can view that as me, like the
Yeah.
self, like
Yeah.
I, So that's,
Ramana
That's
Maharshi has stated that also, right? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says limbs and there's no Krishna, Krishna is I.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. One way or the other, it's very similar, to what's going on here.
So that's why that sloka was borrowed from from Gita to Vishnu Sahasranam. The same sloka.
Same sloka. Makes sense.
And the-
The
and-
one-pointedness at all times, that's the point, right? Especially at the time when the mind wants to withdraw to something else.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason it cares about that, or is annoyed by it or something. There's some issue, some hitch, right? So the point is to soften that hitch and then melt it away.
And when you can breathe, why can't you do the same way like that?
Yeah, right.
Right?
With the same naturalness.
Yeah, naturally you are you're automatically breathing,
Yeah,
and you are doing lots of things too.
yeah. So same, right, exactly, right. You should be, if you keep your mind on the practice at all times in the same way, that's perfect. Any other questions? All right, well, I think we're over for today. And we'll see you all this evening and then tomorrow.
You wanted to
at 5
ask
o'clock.
something, right?
No, it's okay. No.
Okay. We'll talk about it later.